Hey everyone, it's Gabriella Barrero with There Is No Plan B. We are kicking off our 25 days of holiday small biz food with the one and only Jay Benjamin. Now, if you are located in Morris County, New Jersey, then you may not have heard yet, but I hope you're hearing now about Trim MD Wellness right in Morristown. And we're chatting with the founder who has a beautiful career that she then pivoted into becoming a wellness entrepreneur. Jay, welcome to There Is No Plan B. It
Thanks,
sounds like in
Gabby.
your life, there was no plan B and you went all in on plan A when it revealed itself to you. Can you chat with us who Jay was just a few years ago and who Jay is now?
Thank you. Absolutely. And I absolutely love sharing my story, Gabby, because it is so night and day. So, just to start off, I came from corporate. I was in supply chain for about 14 years. My degree was in business. I did undergrad and grad school in business. I've worked for quite a number of companies in supply chain. Some you might have heard of, Shiseido, Avon. And about 2 years ago, I started really thinking about my journey, my path, where I'm going, what I wanted my story to look like. And when I thought about it, I said, what was it that I was passionate about? I've always been passionate about health, wellness, nutrition, and just living a healthy lifestyle. And I sat down and had a long, hard conversation with myself, and I said, I prayed about it, and the path was very clear. I needed to make a switch, right? And like you said, no plan B. I literally got up and I left my very, very cushy corporate job, and I decided that I was going to open a wellness center. And I really just, went through the proper channels, consulted with a consultant team of lawyers to figure how could I bring that to light, to really make sure I was servicing people from a regulatory and a holistic standpoint. And that's how Trim MD was born. Exactly a year ago, we opened the doors in Morristown. So we are a little over a year in today, and I'm so excited about what we've been able to create so far, the community, the services, and the impact that Trim MD have had.
And walk me through the process of choosing Trim MD. So, what was it about your journey and your background that led you into specifically opening this kind of center?
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things, I've always been very curious. Family history is very important, and not unlike any other family, there's diabetes, high blood pressure, and certain issues that I know that are in my family. And genetics, sometimes we can escape it and sometimes we can't. So that's always been something that's in my mind, in the back of my head, like, okay, there's certain things that you're going to be struggling with later on in your life. So there's that. And then just statistically looking across, adults in the US, regardless of race, whether you're Black, white, Asian American, that struggle with certain things, whether it be diabetes, high blood pressure. And I really wanted to make sure the service I was going to offer was a lot more than how you look. It needed to be lasting, it needed to make an impact. So when I sat down with the team, my medical director, I said, how are we going to bring meaningful change? There's GLP-1, and I really wanted it to be more than just, okay, you take a shot and you lose weight. It needed to be, you'll take the shot if that's what you want, but there's also nutrition, there's also metabolic health, there's also looking into and thinking about your hormones, thinking about your diagnosis if you have one. So it really went beyond just thinking about, I wanted to make people thin and I wanted people to be able to, it really needed to resonate, and it needed to be holistic. It needed to be a program rather than you come in, you get a shot. So how our programs are set up is you sign on, you come in monthly for check-in. We're checking your BMI, we're checking your muscle mass. So you're doing your 3D scan, you're sitting down with me and the team. We're going through your nutrition, we're going through your progress, and we're also discussing what your long-term goals are. So this business needed to make an impact. And that was really the thinking in bringing it to life and continuing to evolve and change as we are today.
Wow. And now for you, Jay, as being one human to oversee all this, what has the process looked like and how has your health changed? How has your mindset changed as you've stepped full time into entrepreneurship from a full-fledged corporate career for 14 years?
Yeah. So I wish I could take all the credit for it, but I do work with, like I said, I started off with a consulting team to really help me dot the I's and cross the T. We have a medical director who have a staff, so he has nurses, he has NPs on his team, and we work with a network of doctors and NPs to really help one, build the protocols, but two, do the consultation, help with prescription management, and as well as accountability. So it's not just me. In office, we have a nurse, we have a medical assistant, and then there's myself. So from the nutrition to the medical aspect, we're really able to cover all the bases, lifestyle management, wellness, your prescription, any side effects you're having. So really, it's not just me. There's just been a really, really huge supportive team that has helped to not only bring this to life, but help with the day to day.
Beautiful. Many can say that the entrepreneurial challenge is that of being alone. So
Yes.
you feel like, you know what? I've had such an amazing team with me that I've had someone holding my hand
Yeah.
every single step of the way.
Absolutely. And with my background being in corporate, one of the really cool things I think I bring to the table is that organization. But I got to thank the medical team for the medical part of things, putting together the protocols. There are things that I know I could not think of, and that's where my medical director and his team comes in.
And what have been some of the highlights since you guys have been open for almost a year? What have been some of the highlights of that year? Client transformations, any collaborations, or tell us about some of the highs that you've experienced.
So some of the difference we've been able to make in people's life has just been inspiring. About 2 months after we were open, I had a young lady, she was about 25, 26. She called and she said, I just wanted to tell you we were able to reverse my pre-diabetes. And when I did my blood work, the numbers for my fatty liver had improved. And that was the first time I was like, wow, like this is the kind of impact I wanted to have. And seeing that replicate itself over and over and over. We've had clients who's brought their parents, they've brought their kids, they've brought their spouses, and just seeing us making that difference. And, one of the things I remember when we were opening, someone said, well, there's a lot of online places that business can't possibly do well. And I said, well, the difference is it's a service that we're offering. It's not just about you get a prescription and you move on. But the expectation is that you're checking in. Our clients are like family. We know when they're getting married. We know where they're going for vacation. So being able to make the difference and being able to forge the relationships we have, it's just been an amazing, amazing journey.
Oh, that's beautiful. And now I think that we haven't walked through yet, but what are some of the different things that you offer at
Yes.
TrimMD?
So I'm glad you asked that. So we do offer GLP-1 and weight loss solutions. We offer metabolic assessment and metabolic health and wellness assessment. So overall, we'll take your metabolic rate, we'll turn that into a nutrition plan if that's what you're looking for. Some customers just want the information, and then we have customers who go on to say, okay, we want to use that information to make a change in my diet. We also recently added our IV treatment. So whether it's low energy, whether it's fatigue, we have an IV drip treatment for that. We offer NAD plus, which is great for anti-aging, and a few more services to be added.
Beautiful. What do you look at now that you have a year under your belt? What are you looking forward to over the next year?
Yeah, so one of the things is, I truly take my cue from the customers. So when we
Mm.
started with one product, a lot of people said, well, why don't you add this and why don't you add that? And I said, no, my job wasn't I didn't come into this to just add services. I wanted to truly understand what people wanted. So when we added IV nutrition, IV drips, I sat down and we've had a few customers that's been with us for some time, and we'll say to them, what is most important to you? So for us, it's really listening to our customer and growing in a meaningful way. So over the next year, my goal is to keep bringing in services that works. We have a lot of customers that have asked about our hormonal treatment. So that's another thing that we are currently working on bringing in-house and further expanding our nutrition program as well.
And what would you say to the version of Jay who just opened Trim MD Wellness last year? What would you say to her if you could go back in time?
And that's an amazing question. Oh my gosh. Just thinking about how I felt, the optimism, and I was so scared. And what I would say to her is just keep going. Because there were days, Gabby, when entrepreneurship can be a lonely journey. And I've heard that over and over. And there were days when I just sat there and I was like, what did you do? You blew up your career to do this. And then, of course, there's always that negative voice. But what I would say to her is just keep going. And really, that's just it because that's what I did. But during doing it, it didn't feel like I should be. And coming, a year out of it, all I could keep saying is just keep going, just keep going. It will work out. Your passion will come through. It's just keep going.
Oh, I love that, Jay. And I feel like people can be like, just keep going. Are you sure? You don't know what I'm going through. But no, we have to keep prevailing. And
Yeah.
now, if you went back in time to that version of Jay before she left the corporate career, before she even knew this is what she wanted, what do you think you would say to her?
Ah, what's your purpose? And I think,
Ooh.
yeah, it wasn't until I truly sat down and had that conversation with myself. And I remember it was a late night. It was about 12:30 when I sat there and I really was like, what do you want your legacy to be? And before it was, climbing the corporate ladder and having the job and the title. And I was always chasing the title and the job and the paycheck. But I never truly understood what my purpose was. And if I could go back to before the jobs and the titles and all that, it would be what is your purpose? Because once you find that purpose, it drives you in a way that it's just different. It's different. Work doesn't feel like work. The stress doesn't feel like stress because it's like you are really working towards that purpose. So, yeah.
Wow. Oh, I love that, Jay. And what do you think she would have said, that corporate version of you? If you're like, what's your purpose? Well, she'd been like, come on, really? I don't know that. Come on, we got bills to pay. Or like, how do you think
Exactly.
she would have responded?
That is exactly what she would have said. That version of me was she was cocky, she was confident, but cocky as hell. And she would say, we got bills to pay. We have a house to buy. We have a daughter to take care of, and we have, that huge paycheck to chase. I don't think that version of me would have listened for a second.
That is hilarious. But you would have tried, right? The current version of you would have
Oh
tried,
yeah, I would have keep trying. I would
right?
have said, girl, get it together.
Yes. And isn't it ironic that at that point in your
Yeah.
life, you probably thought you had it all
Oh,
together,
absolutely. I knew exactly
right?
where I was going. I was going this, and if I took this position, then I would be here, and I needed this experience to
Wow.
round out my resume. And I really had a good, because I'm very good with big picture thinking, and then I
Hmm.
work my way back way and backwards and fill in the gap. And I thought I had that figured out in corporate. I knew exactly the position I was going for. I knew the salary. The interviews I did, I could tell you the salary, the median salary based on the region because I had all of that really, really figured out, or at least I thought I did. But the question is, was
Wow.
I happy? And that's when I look back and I realized I wasn't truly happy because I never took a break. I wasn't walking in my purpose. So, yeah.
Jay, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank
that.
you.
Let's share the details behind TrimMD. I know, of course, your website is trimmdwellness.com, located in Morristown, New Jersey. And then you do have a promotional offer that's been going on. So,
Yes.
A, do you want to share that offer? And then B, could you also let them know the easiest way for them to book and learn more about your services?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really, really excited about our IV drip nutrition, our IV services. So right now, for your first IV treatment, it's only $100. And I challenge any one of you, by the way, to check the competitors and check the other IV places, and you'll see that this is an amazing, amazing deal. You can get your own customized cocktail, or you can choose from any of the cocktails that we already have. So again, it's $100 for your first IV treatment. And then after that, we can talk about membership based on if you like it, if you want to do it multiple times a month or one time for a month. Gabby, I will say the best way to really book this service is give us a call. It's simple. There's almost always someone available. And you can reach us at 973, grab your pens. Let me stop. I'm going to start over. Grab your pens. 973 500 6502. So go ahead, give us a call, book your treatment. And if you call and for whatever reason we don't pick up, leave a message. And then you can also go over to our website and fill out the contact form. Someone will be back in touch with you within 24 hours. So go right ahead, book us, go online, send your information. I promise you, you're going to absolutely love the IV treatment.
Beautiful. I always love to end each interview with a quote or a line or anything that you're really loving right now, a book you're loving, a story
Yeah.
you're loving, or a quote that you're really clinging on to in this season of your life.
Yeah. So, when I started my business, initially the idea was, of course, to bring these services. And the thing that is really staying with me these days is one of the things a lot of our customers say, it's the accessibility. And, we
Mm.
have customers who they choose not to go to their doctor's office for, say, the GLP-1, for example. And just because they feel like, okay, we're going in, we get the prescription, and that is it. The accessibility with us is not only are you getting the treatment, but it's in a setting where we're sitting down, we're talking you through it, we're telling you the side effects. You don't have to do all the research on your own. We have customers that will call us and say, I took my shot this morning. I feel a little, tired. Is that okay? And we'll say yes, or they can text us. So, one of the things that I'm really, really loving about what I'm doing is just the accessibility. We have customers that just send us a text message to say, hey, I feel good. I got on the scale this morning. I already lost a few pounds. And I think I really, really love that. So accessibility and just the ease at which, our services is I'm in that point where I just love that for our customers. I'm always excited when they text us, just with the slightest update. So yeah.
Oh, I love that, Jay. Thank you so much for being
Thank
a part
you,
of our
Gabby.
holiday campaign and for being on There Is No Plan B. I can't wait for our future collaborations, and I hope everyone watches.